class 10th. Today we will start with control and coordination in animals. What is coordination in animals? In animals, control and coordination is done by the nervous system and endocrine system. Now, is the nervous system? Nervous system, which consists of brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. They have few receptors also. Few receptors, the sense organs that we have. So, receptors are the sense organ which receives the stimuli and pass the message to the brain or the spinal cord through the sensory nerves. What are the different kinds of receptors present in the body? Photoreceptors that are present in the eyes to detect the light. Phonoreceptors that detect the sound and present in the ears. Olfactory receptors in the nose to detect the smell. Gustatory receptors in the tongue to detect taste. Tango receptors in the skin to detect the touch. What are effectors? Effectors, these are the muscles and the glands which respond to the information from the brain and spinal cord through the motor nerves. In the next slides, we will come and see what are motor nerves and what are sensory nerves. But look at the definition first. What are motor nerves? Motor nerves are the nerves which carry information from the brain in the spinal cord to these effectors that we have studied. And sensory nerves are the nerves which carry information from the receptors to the brain and the spinal cord. So this is a cycle which is going and the brain is in between, which is passing on the information. Receptors are the sense organs. Phonoreceptors in the ears, photoreceptors in the eyes, thermoreceptors in the skin, olfactory receptors in the nose, gustatory receptors in the tongue. Now, ear will function in the hearing and the balance of the body. Photoreceptors in the visual stimulus, thermoreceptors in the pain and the touch. Olfactory receptors in the smell detection and gustatory for the taste detection. So, control and coordination in animals is controlled by nervous system and endocrine system. Mug it by heart. Are neurons. Neurons are the fundamental unit of the nervous system. Neurons are also called as the nerve cells. This is the structure which is showing the structure of a neuron. That is the cell body which consists of the dendrites and the nucleus in between and the soma, that is the somatic cells. In between is the axons and which has the myelin sheath for insulation. Schwann cells, the nucleated accord, that it is a Schwann cells present and then has the nerve ending. One nerve ending will attach another neuron and the space in between that is called as the synapse. What is the main function of the neuron? The main function of the neuron is to pass the receiving information and send the appropriate signal to the rest part of the body. So our body consists of millions of neurons. The signal received are in the form of electrical signal as they are passed and they are just running very fast. Neuron comprises of dendrite, axon and the cell body. So a body of neuron is divided into three parts, that is dendrite, axon and the cell body. What is a neuron? Neuron are the building blocks of the nervous system. Okay, I just told you that they carried out both physical and electric forms of the signals from the brain to the different parts of the body, and so the transmission of the information becomes easy. The sensory neurons carry information from the sensory receptors present, which are present throughout the body and to the brain. While there are motor neurons which transmit information from the brain to the muscles. The interneuron transmit information between different neurons in the body which are interconnecting the two. What are the parts of neuron? We have just looked at the structure of neuron. Now comes the parts of a neuron, that is dendrite, cell body, and axon. First, we will discuss about it, then we will discuss about the synapse. Dendrites are the branch-like structure that receives the message from the other neuron and allow the transmission of message to the cell body. Dendrite, then the cell body is there. You know what the cell body is made up of? It is rich. It has got nucleus, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, and a lot of mitochondria because it needs energy, that is the ATP. After that is the axon. You know, yeah, remember the yellow structure, yellow colored? Axon is a tube-like structure that carries the electric impulse from the cell body to the axon terminal and which passes the impulse from one neuron to another. But the connection between one neuron to another, the junction between the two is the synapse, which has got the chemicals, the neurotransmitters in them, and that is a synapse. These are the neuron types, sensory neurons and motor neurons that we have just discussed about. Receptors are the sense organs. Phonoreceptors in the ears, photoreceptors in the eyes, thermoreceptors in the skin, olfactory receptors in the nose, gustatory receptors in the tongue. Now, ear will function in the hearing and the balance of the body. Photoreceptors in the visual stimulus, thermoreceptors in the pain and the touch, olfactory receptors in the smell detection, and gustatory for the taste. The brain which consists of the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, which consist of peripheral nervous system and sensory and the motor. Okay, we had just discussed about the sensory and the motor neuron. Over here, the motor neuron is again divided into autonomic and somatic nervous system, which is again sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic and parasympathetic is not in your syllabus now, but sensory and motor, that is a afferent. Afferent का मतलब होता है that is going, and efferent which is coming out. So afferent which is going to the central nervous system, and motor which is efferent matlab which is coming out of the central nervous system. Now it will be easy for you to remember. What is a neuron? Neuron are the building blocks of the nervous system. Okay, I just told you that they carried out both physical and electric forms of the signals from the brain to the different parts of the body, and so the transmission of the information becomes easy. The sensory neurons carry information from the sensory receptors present, which are present throughout the body and to the brain. While there are motor neurons which transmit information from the brain to the muscles. The interneuron transmit information between different neurons in the body which are interconnecting the two. Over here, the full brain with the spinal cord is given, and over here is discussed about the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, the afferent and the efferent. Again, I repeat, afferent means which is coming to the brain, efferent which is going to the receptors. Okay, and which again is divided into somatic and autonomic. Somatic means voluntary, which we can do by ourselves, and autonomic means which is involuntary, which is not in our hand. Okay, sympathetic and parasympathetic is being deleted from your syllabus. Thank you. The brain is saying thank you so much.